In the view from Earth, sun and moon round each other in an ancient dance, separating day from night. But when a new moon, whose light faces away from Earth, moves between Earth and sun, day mixes with night in a total solar eclipse. Astronomers and astrophysicists call this totality. They seek it out for the knowledge it holds about the sun, the solar system, and the gas, dust, magnetic fields, and charged particles of interplanetary space. Total eclipses have been happening since the sun, moon, and planets coalesced out of the solar nebula more than 4 billion years ago. But the one that happened on March 29, 2006, did something incredible. It brought U.S. scientists from NASA and scientists from research institutions in Libya together for the first time to observe and study the sun's corona. The historic expedition was the first civil science project undertaken by the two nations after a 25-year break in formal relations. The NASA science team included solar physicist Moralika Guhatharkurta of NASA headquarters in Washington, astrophysicist Joseph Davila of the Heliophysics Division at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center in Maryland, astrophysicist Nelson Reginald, and Chris St. Cyr, both of the Solar Physics Division at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center in Maryland, and Donald Hassler, Senior Research Scientist of the Southwest Research Institute in Colorado. The desert of southern Libya turned out to be the best place on Earth to see the solar spectacle, because the total eclipse would be visible only from a narrow corridor called the Path of Totality that would begin in Brazil, extend across the Atlantic Ocean and northern Africa, and end in Central Asia at sunset in western Mongolia. Libya's desert was also the least likely place of any along the path to have clouds that could hide the eclipse. Government officials from the United States and Libya worked hard for months to bring the scientists together in Libya. The journey began 4 days before the eclipse in Tripoli, Libya's capital, a growing city of nearly 2 million people. Who embrace Libya's history and its future, and whose leader since 1969, Muammar Gaddafi, is said to have the same passionate interest in astronomy as the region's Bedouins and desert dwellers. Tripoli is in the country's northwest, on a point of rocky land projecting into the Mediterranean. Seafaring Phoenicians founded Tripoli in the 7th century BC, and the Romans invaded in 106 BC. Roman ruins survive there today, and also at Leptis Magna and Sabratha. Where the NASA team discussed their hopes for Libyan scientists and for continued international cooperation.
The community that I interacted with in Libya are essentially middle-class scientists, much like scientists in US, in Europe, in India, and they are curious for knowledge. They want to talk to other scientists. They have been really receptive towards us, embraced us with an openness, with an accommodation to make this eclipse possible. And that makes me think that different cultures, different people, their ways of life, we recognize that yes, we have differences, but our strength is that we have knowledge, we are curious as people, and we all crave for the same things in life, irrespective of what our religion is.
I think it's important for scientists to take the lead in opening up borders and international frontiers, because science is really a universal language, just like education is. And the laws of physics pertain to all countries, all cultures throughout the planet.
In the city, Tripoli residents and government officials welcomed the NASA team to Libya.
This is we call Arabian coffee.
Science has no nationality, maybe technology has a nationality. And because of that, I think cooperation in science is very important. There is no big, no small in science, all are equal. The ideas and the searching the ways to reach the fact is always should be a shared phenomena, and we are looking forward to share what we do have in knowledge, and we would like also the others like USA and its huge machine in size to share it with us for developing new technology for the benefit both for both nation and for the humanity elsewhere.
NASA, as we all know, is a great scientific community that can help a lot in the area of space science and remote sensing. This is the sort of things that we're looking forward to have cooperation with the scientists of NASA. Especially as you know, Libya's water is very scarce in Libya. NASA probably can help through images, through satellites, through space remoting, things like this.
One of the NASA team's first stops in Tripoli was Al Fatah University, one of Libya's most important institutes of higher learning, where 75,000 students study nearly every engineering and science discipline. At the College of Sciences, NASA expedition leader Joe Davila presented Dr. Hadi Omar with a book about the history of NASA and spaceflight for the university library.
For your university to present to you a book about space from NASA. And we'd like to present this to you.
Thank you very much.
I have a lot of people who are interested in the field, interested in NASA, and we know NASA is the biggest organization for the space science, and we would like to explore this avenue for our people. And it is very interesting to have very good relation with NASA, and as we know, we have the seeds for people they can benefit from the advanced technology NASA running in the States.
Students in the College of Sciences Department of Stratosphere see Libya's future in the study of science.
For the students in this department, I think they will have a great future, as students in this department study the sciences of man and the environment. And these students have something to do with a lot of things that we do, like the workings of an airport, aircraft, and flying. Students in this department will have a good future, especially in Libya.
I wish that in the future we would have an entire university dedicated to the study of the stratosphere, not only a department. This is what they've done in Saudi Arabia, as this is an important subject for us here. Right now, we have a stratosphere department only in 2 colleges in Libya. I would like to see a department for the study of the stratosphere in every university in Libya.
Officials and faculty members from across the university embrace the prospect of collaboration with NASA and the United States.
There must be a normal relationship between all countries around the world. I mean, this is the normal. The other way, which is abnormal, that you don't have a relationship with any country. What happened in the past, I think it has been finished and finalized. In my opinion, we should look forward to cooperation.
We are now watching a new spirit. We would like the people in the United States to have the good image about the Libyan people. We would like an equivalent relationship to be built between Libyan institutions and American institutions. We would like to benefit from the technological advances being made in the United States, and we would like to share the common knowledge for humanitarian purposes.
Two days before the eclipse, the Libyan government flew NASA and Libyan scientists deep into the desert, stopping overnight at a remote agricultural research center. Next day, the science team approached a technological oasis near the center of the vast Sahara Desert. Eclipse City. On the ground, after a group photograph, the U.S. and Libyan scientists joined research teams from Italy, Switzerland, France, and Germany in getting experiments ready for the next day's total eclipse. The scientists also stayed busy keeping sand out of delicate instruments. The Libyan government invested 2 years and many resources to plan and build an international base camp that offered 150 temporary residents carpeted sleeping huts, showers, toilets, refrigerated food storage, prepared meals, a gift shop, and wireless internet access. Amid the activity, something else occurred that isn't usually seen in the middle of the Sahara Desert. A full scientific meeting, an international symposium on solar physics and solar eclipses, sponsored by the International Heliophysical Year, the Libyan government, the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology, and others. Professor Jan Olaf Stenflo, director of the Institute of Astronomy at the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology, was one of the organizers.
When we decided to go here, we, of course, didn't know what to expect. But with the support of, in particular, the Seba University, with whom we have planned all this, and getting the backing and help with the setting up the infrastructure, it's a miracle, and I start to believe in miracles now. That something like this, a camp like this with infrastructure for doing this and bringing together people and even have an international conference of high quality at this location, that is an achievement.
At last, Eclipse Day dawns. The pace around Eclipse City quickens. Preparations intensify. Silvano Finesci of the Astronomical Observatory in Torino, Italy, explains why it is so important to study eclipses.
Earth is literally inside the sun atmosphere. So we are affected as a planet by the solar wind, this continuous stream of charged particles. And sometimes this wind gets very stormy, and we have solar storms, and they affect satellites, telecommunication satellites. They affect also the power grids on Earth. So it's very important for mankind to learn about the effects of this space weather on Earth and on the man-made spacecrafts.
To develop new instruments for monitoring such solar energy, the NASA team will conduct 2 experiments during the eclipse. Both measure the same thing, but in different ways. One is a small telescope with a camera that uses filters to capture light from the sun's corona and separate the light into individual colors. The other is called MAX, for Multi-Aperture Coronal Spectrometer. MAX uses a machine called a spectrograph to separate the light into individual colors. Eventually, the team will compare the 2 techniques. The experiments will help measure the density, temperature, and flow speed of particles called electrons that scatter the light, and that information will be used to improve computer models of the solar system. It's afternoon now, nearly time for the eclipse. Even in this remote place, people gather. It begins as moon bites into sun. The day takes on a metallic glare, then darkens. Joe Davila gives Max a final adjustment. Donald Hassler begins the countdown.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And the eclipse chasers savor totality. And a glimpse of the diamond ring effect created as the last rays of sunlight pass through valleys on the edge of the moon. After the eclipse, those who witness the event congratulate each other on their good fortune. And the scientists begin to relax.
Really, I feel relieved. We've had various problems, challenges we call them in our current lingo, that we've overcome to get here. We've had a lot of help from a lot of people at NASA. We've had a lot of help from a lot of people in Libya, and it's all paid off in this moment.
I was so relieved when I was told that both experiments got the data that we looked for. And being in the Libyan desert for these 4.5 minutes and getting all that data makes me so happy, and we will go back and we'll start analyzing the data.
Hade Gashout, General Director of the Libyan Center for Remote Sensing and Space Science and Libya's top astronomer, was part of the NASA Libya science team.
We try to find any way for cooperation without any restrict impossible thing. As you know, the space is for all to cooperate all together in this space.
Oh, look!
The mission was a success.
It went too quickly.
But the scientists know the journey has been much more than just an eclipse expedition.
I really hope that the momentum that we've started with this trip and the meetings we've made with the Libyan scientists continues, and that more and more Americans and more people come to visit Libya and find out that this is a gorgeous country, and the people are wonderful and welcoming and friendly, and this trend continues.
I'm going to talk to my scientist friends. I'm going to talk to folks at NASA headquarters, State Department people who made this happen for us. I think we really need to cooperate with this country. They are emerging from a hibernation almost of 30 years, and they're eager, they're thirsty for knowledge. I think we really need to cooperate with them.
High above the desert, the ancient dance of sun and moon brought scientists from the United States and Libya together in partnership with their colleagues from around the world.
والشكر للإخوة زملائي أعضاء اللجنة التحضيرية على جهودهم التي بذلوها من أجل
And briefly turn day into night.
Their enthusiasm was there and their interest in understanding nature. It's been just a wonderful experience here. I've enjoyed every minute of it. I found the people friendly and warm, open to discussing all kinds of ideas.
But the real transformation took place on the ground, where scientists from diverse cultures came together for a common purpose. In a land where the world's leading scholars in the Islamic Golden Age made critical contributions to the fledgling disciplines of science, including astronomy.
Knowledge can come from anywhere. It's not unique to one particular country. And by sharing information, I think we can make a great future progress for the humanity as whole.
The scientists met to explore mysteries.
Science is a universal language. And, it really brings us together.
Seek understanding.
We're looking forward for more cooperation, especially in the scientific area, for the benefit of all of us on this planet.
And use the knowledge they gain to make the world a better place for people everywhere.
إن في خلق السماوات والأرض واختلاف الليل والنهار لآيات لأولي الألباب.